Welcome to another 4D Systems video. Today I'll be showing you how I made this touchscreen inventory tracker. This tracker allows me to take note of and instantly update the amount of hardware that I currently have. It's an easy way to keep things organized. Let's get started. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to open up Workshop 4 and choose my display. This time I'm going to change the orientation to vertical, and then I'm going to select ViSi-Genie. As you can see, because I changed the orientation in the preview screen, the orientation of our graphic interface here has also been changed accordingly. This means that when we load our program onto the screen, it will be viewed in this way as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is set our background. I'm going to choose the image option in the Form Properties tab and upload my image. I just have this simple white minimalist background. Then I'm going to change the background type to image, and the image I uploaded will now show up on the screen. Next, I'm going to add buttons for each hardware type to take me to their respective forms. However, instead of using inherent buttons and labeling them, I want my buttons to show an image of what the hardware option is. That way I have easy visual feedback of what the button is going to do. To create a button that has an image attached to it, I'm going to use the user button widget. This basically allows me to create a button using my own custom graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that onto the screen, and then again, if I choose the image option in properties, I'll be able to select my image that I want to use for the button. If you want, you can create a border or background graphic using the border widget or any of the primitive shapes. So I have 4 different categories that I want to make. The first one is screws, and I'll make 3 more in the same way, dragging on the user button widget and then attaching the image. Now that all of those buttons are set up, I want to connect their onChange events to something so when we press them and they are activated, they do the action that I want. In this case, I want all of these buttons to open up their own respective forms. So I'm going to go over to System Media and press the Form option 4 times. This will add 4 new pages known as Forms in Workshop into our project. So if I press the Form drop-down option, you'll see that we now have forms 0 to 4. Forms 1 through 4 will currently be empty, as those are the ones that we just added. Now that we have put those into our project, we can attach each of the buttons to their respective forms. So the first button I'm going to connect to Form 1, the next to Form 2, and so on. Now when we click on these buttons, they will open up the new forms. Okay, so the last thing I want to do on this main screen is add some more visual feedback with labels. I'm going to add a title by going to Labels and then dragging in a static text widget. I'll change the font and size to my liking. You can also change the color here to whatever you want. Once I press OK, the changes to my text will automatically update the static text. I'll repeat these same steps to add labels to each of the buttons and change the text style and size to what I think looks best. Now our main menu screen is done, so we can move on to building the next form. Next, I'm going to build the list for the screws I want to keep track of. So on this screen, I want to have the name of the screw, a button to edit the number of stock, and digits so I can see how many of each screw that I have at a quick glance. This part is relatively simple. Just like before, I'm going to add a label so I can see the name of the screw. Then I'm going to add a button which will connect to another form where we can edit the amount of stock we have. And finally, a digit so I can quickly see the number of screws currently in my stock. I'll repeat this another time to create a list that includes the different types of screws I have. So for this project, I'm just going to be doing wood and metal screws. Now the layout for this list is ready. I'll basically repeat these steps for each of our different types of hardware on the forms that I've connected them to. So now we've filled out all of our forms with the necessary info that they need. The last thing to complete this user flow is to create the last form for each screw type. This will be the page where we can change the number of screws that is being displayed on the digits in the list screen. Now I'm going to add 2 more forms. These will be the forms that we link the 2 edit stock buttons to in the list page. So once we add those forms, we can link the edit stock buttons onChange event to activate those forms. exactly the same way we did the first time. Now here's where we're going to build our slider, which will control the digits back on the list screen. All of these graphics will be available with the project file in the video description. What I'm going to do is drag in a smart slider. The first graphic is this base image of the gauge. Then on layer 1, which is above the base image, I'll add the graphic of the knob. Align its reference point to the middle, and I'll make sure its value is 50. This means that we will have 50 frames moving the knob from the bottom to the top of the slider. And it also means that the values of the digits will range from 0 to 50 accordingly. So really you can set this up however you like. If you want more or less, it's up to you. Then I'll set its min and max Y value to match the ends of the slider. Then in layer 2, I'll add the graphic of the color. Again, I'll align it to the middle. However, this time we want this to sit underneath the base layer. As the base layer is a PNG, the middle here is transparent, which means the color will be visible even though it's sitting beneath it. Again, I'm going to give it 50 frames and adjust its Y value. Then I want to click linked group 1 and 2, so that way all of the graphics are linked. Finally, I'm going to turn on the numeric value. What this will do is show the exact value of the slider so I can see the number that is going to be displayed as I'm adjusting it. If you find that the numeric value is disappearing once you move it, you have to change the face size. This is basically the rectangle that determines the amount of area that the slider will take up. I'll adjust the scaling to make this a bit bigger, and that's our slider pretty much done. So to make the value of the slider adjust the value of the digits over on our other form, I'm going to link the slider's on-changing event to that LED digit, which in this case is LED digit 0. So once this slider is adjusted, not only will its value be reflected by the numeric number, however also by the digits that are attached to it. There's just a couple of things that I want to do before finalizing this form, that being add a title same as before. I can actually just copy and paste the one from our list page and change the caption. And then I want to add a button to go back to the previous form so we don't get stuck here once we are done. I'm again going to use the user button, but this time I'm going to link its on-change event to activate the form with our list on it. I'm then going to copy and paste this button onto our list page and change the event to activate the home screen. Now we can easily navigate through this entire workflow. So that's pretty much everything for the logic of this program. From here, all of these same steps are repeated to create the entirety of the finished project. That means adding more forms and making sure that all of the buttons activate the correct pages, and that all of the sliders are connected to their respective digits. To save time, you can copy and paste assets. However, of course, make sure to change their on-changed events so there isn't two things linked to the same action. From here, I just went through and finished off this project by repeating these steps and adjusting everything accordingly. And there you have it, an extremely simple project to show you just how easy it is to create an easily navigatable program for users. Hopefully this video was helpful to you in some way. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.